wasn't sure how to talk about Dad. But Kevin gave me a letter that I'd written probably 20 years ago that he'd saved, and I thought I might tell you a bit about that. Dear Dad, Ann Landers said, we must all write a note to our fathers this year and tell them what they need. Now, Ann Landers dates me right away because not everybody remembers who that is. It sounds like a good idea, but I don't know if the words are there. How can I describe the feelings? They go so deep, there seems to be no end. I don't think I even want to think about the panic and terror that raced through my heart this spring when the thought of being without you forced itself into my mind, and that was when he had his poisoning from the
carbon monoxide.
Yeah, carbon monoxide poisoning. We all thought it was a heart attack. But I can tell you that you are the topic for the children's sermon in church this Sunday. I'm going to talk about Father's Day and how I felt about my dad when I was young. I'm going to tell them how much I trusted you. You could fix anything, make me anything. I remember once climbing far too high in a tree by the woods by our house and not being able to get down. I had to stay there until you came home for lunch and got me down. You were always busy and I'm sure often tired, but I don't remember a single occasion when you didn't have a hug or a smile for me. Nothing made me happier than to see that look of unabashed pride on your face when I accomplished something, anything. I also remember times when you comforted me, like when I was auditioning for All-State Orchestra and learned, far too late, that Jack really didn't know the procedure. I was to play some music that I'd rehearsed for well over a month. And when I got there, instead, I'd never seen it before. I was in tears, and I was angry and disappointed and ready to give up, but you got me to go ahead and try anyway. The coach gave me 15 minutes to practice and come back. And I'm very proud that I did so well. You stood up for me when POTUS kicked me off the cheerleading squad. More about that later if you want. Other parents might have easily taken the administrator's side. The teacher's always right, you know. Your support then helped ease the confusion and embarrassment that I went through. Well, I don't think I'll tell the kids all of this, but I do want to teach them the word adore, because that is how I feel about you. I want them to understand the word in the context of our earthly fathers, so they might know what it means to adore our Heavenly Father. I'm also going to sing a song that a little girl sings for her father. My pa's the only one on earth I can tell my troubles to. His arms are house and home to me. His face a pretty poem to me. My pa's the finest friend I ever knew. I only wish that you could know him too. I think as Mom passed so much as a surprise to us all, we didn't think that Dad was going to last very long. He surprised us all. But as we began to see those wonderful hands that built such beautiful wooden things, did puzzles and maintained scoreboards, Christmas lights, we could see now that they were having trouble holding, reaching, manipulating. His hands weren't what they used to be. His legs used to climb poles way up on those lines. And of course, he was the one that they called upon at church to go way up high. changed the light bulbs. Now those legs couldn't walk anymore. And that really, I think that really bothered him quite a bit. His eyes were beautiful, sparkling eyes, and laughing eyes. I think I would call them laughing eyes. But the last time I saw him, they were no longer brown. They were milky and white and couldn't see much. He did some amazing things in his life, like he saved a farmer who had his arm stuck in machinery. He just happened to be going past him, and he ran in and saved him. He also came upon an accident out in he had several little towns he served, and a young motorcyclist had been hit by a truck, and he and the sheriff drove him to the hospital. The sheriff drove, and Dad helped the screaming boy down so that they could get in there. He didn't make it, and that was one of the times I saw Dad cry. I love that, the sparkle in his eye, because he loved to tell jokes on people. One time he kidnapped the pitcher from the baseball team. He had quit, the pitcher had quit, and Dad was not happy about that. So they kidnapped the pitcher and took him off away and said they wouldn't return him until he pitched a game. But perhaps the funnest one was when he took and met the aforementioned Jack Early for dinner at a new steakhouse. And they had gone up north where Jack was and met at this new steakhouse. Well, Dad excused himself from dinner for a moment, and he went out and he had a mannequin leg of a woman, and he had a nylon and a shoe on it and everything. He stuck it under the front wheel of Jack's car so that when he came out, he would find this lady under his car. And yes, it was a good joke because Jack was aghast at what he may have done. Perhaps his best friend was Dick Solom, and they came over to Germany. There were many laughs when they stayed with us. And I remember specifically one night when Dad and Jack were going to tell us the best joke ever. They never got the joke out. One of them would start laughing, and then the other would start laughing. And for the life of me, I have no idea what the joke was about. Dad was a true jokester. He appreciated anything that you played on him, but more so anything he played on you, I think. The last two words of that little song, my pa's the finest friend I ever knew. I only wish that you could know him too. That was Kevin's wish. He's the finest friend. He's the finest man I ever knew. extended to the family.
Thanks. We're gonna go over to my house after. If you need an address, let me know. Thank you.
I do want to encourage everybody to please come forward, spend some time with the family. I know he had a long life and knew you during different times. Look at some of the beautiful artwork, some of the accomplishments he's done. Share your memories. The link is gone out of the chain, so now you have to be closer to each other. Please, spend some time with each other before you go. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.